Welcome to the second Unhelpful cast. I'm your host, Gladfly, and today with me is my lovely co-host, Senna. Say hi to the nice people, Senna.
Hi there.
Today we'll be going over, sorry we've been out for the last couple weeks. We've been kind of trying to get more of this stuff together, and hopefully we'll have a lot more reviews up here for you guys shortly for the last week of the winter season. So stay tuned for that. Through the course of this podcast, we'll be going over some anime news, and then we'll be on to talk about the penultimate episode of Parasite. And then we'll kind of give our predictions for how we think the series is going to go. So stay tuned for the second episode of Unhelpful Cast. So, new segment this week. I thought we'd just go over a couple of news stories in the anime community.
Sounds good.
First up, I was looking at, we're doing, so a new thing, so Shirobako has been one of the most, like, meta shows, just in terms of, like, it being about, like, anime production, and it just, they have to actually produce the anime. It's interesting, the Shirobako is actually based on a manga, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and so it's a manga about making anime, but now it's an anime making an anime, well, it's a production company making an anime about a manga that's about a production company making anime, so it's weird all the way around and like how it is, but they are actually through the whole season they're producing, the show itself is about them producing the fictional show is about them producing this series called Third Aerial Girl Squadron, and they've decided that the OVA episode for Shirobako is going to be the first episode of Third Aerial Girl Squadron. So, I don't. How do you feel about this meta level of anime?
Which anime do you think they're parodying a specific thing with the anime they're actually working on in the show? You mentioned that they have Hideki Anno or someone actually cameo in the show, I think.
So I want to say Tank Girl. I mean, what was it? It was.
That's what it made me think of. Yeah. You know
yeah,
more
well,
about
something
that than
along
I would,
those
but...
lines. So the first season was an original anime production. So Musashi Animation, the fictional animation company, made this anime called Exodus, which is kind of like an original anime production. And because they did well on that one, they got the rights to do a manga. And so it's really funny because the first season is about them making an anime. The second season is about them adapting an anime. And it goes through all this problem with like the creator. Because even in this last episode, because I think the finale is next week, probably it may even be up by the time this cast is up, I'm not sure, but with the last episode, he literally gets into the fight with the creator because he wants to end the show happily, but the creator ended his series on the manga like on a somber note because he's not sure how to end it, and they have this back and forth before they actually decide on it. But it's interesting, and this show is just more about, they're definitely parodying like the manga adaptation element more, and like having to go through somebody else, making somebody else's thing into your own is kind of the element that's this season. But how do you feel about the OVA? I guess like I'm not asking anything more than just like the fact that they're actually going through the process of, because they've shown so many little clippets of the Third Aerial Girl Squadron through the whole season. Like you see them animating it like really in depth. You see them animating the planes. You see them doing the design on the planes. You see them doing like the character animation design. It's just, and they didn't do this for Exodus. They didn't do an OVA for the first half of the season. So it's just really fascinating to me that they're making this one out. Do you think it'll be good?
Well, I kind of like the idea actually, 'cause so many OVAs are just offshoots of a main plot, the main series, some misadventure, something like I don't know, like the last OVA I saw was the Sword Art Online OVA, which you watched with me. So
I did. That was technically, wasn't it technically a movie because it was just though that wasn't really an OVA. I mean, wasn't an OVA because it was really just a season recap with just this weird dungeon tacked on at the end.
Right. I think it was called one. I can't remember, but
I'm sure it was. I mean, but it was like,
yeah, that's just my general
like an extra
impression
episode,
of OVAs.
right?
I haven't seen. I know there's some good ones, but that's the last.
Well,
one.
I mean,
So it seems like a
I
good
still
idea
remember
for
my
OVA
first.
Anyway, are they gonna incorporate or any of the characters from the show, like the designers, incorporate into it? Like, are there characters in the anime they're making that are like reflections of themselves at all, or they do anything cheeky like that?
No, because the season is again about adapting. And it's really funny because the creator of the Third Arrow Girls manga even says, "Oh, all the characters are representations of parts of my personality in this stuff," and they don't. So it doesn't really. They don't really represent characters on the show. I honestly don't know if they'll do any meta thing with Miyamori and the other like 5 main girl characters in the show showing up, or maybe. I mean, I know that one of the girls is a voice actress, and she plays a voice character in the anime. So I mean, her voice will obviously be rendered, but I don't know because I haven't seen the anime yet. But it says it's like the news story was saying that it's just going to be a straight play of the episode they've been animating all season, which I just think is funny. I guess by the end of the season, they're like, we've pretty much animated this show through all the footage they show through each, because each episode has a little bit of the anime in it.
Yeah.
It shows them doing like the renders, and it shows them doing the rough cut, and it shows them doing the like all the Foley work and this stuff, which is really funny too, because that's the best part about this anime is like you realize there's somebody in a studio doing Foley of someone doing Foley work. It just does you in this little circle. Okay. Anything else on that?
Not on that. I thought we should talk about though the well, it's sort of relevant since they just released a new image. They're just really taunting us with Digimon Try, you know?
I didn't know about that.
Oh, yeah, look it up.
No,
dude.
I haven't.
It's funny. They're still not telling us much, right? But the newest image they released is just the character sketches, and it has them just kind of falling through the air, and you can kind of see a little of the.
Yeah, I found that. That's the key visual I saw. Yeah, it kind of looks very strange to me because like I see them all at it. Like I mean, the art style looks nice, but it's just weird to see them grown up. With this one too, I don't know what they're gonna do because they kind of in the last episode of the last season of like the main Digimon universe, they kind of showed where all their lives were going.
Right. That season finale of Adventure 2, they have everybody grown up and married with children that all look like them, and
I mean, I would redo all that being as Sora and Matt ended together, and that's bullshit.
Yeah,
like, that's just straight up bullshit.
I saw something about like it depending on which version you grew up with, Japanese or English, whether Sora was more likely to get with Tai or Matt. I don't know what that's about. If someone could enlighten me on
was that
that,
actually a thing?
I don't know. I just saw a little something on that. I have no idea. But that's something else I kind of want to do before I watch Digimon Try.
How
go back
could
and watch
you resist the allure of that sexy goggles wearing man? I mean, come on.
The goggles.
Though he's not wearing goggles, which is making me so upset. Not really. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I didn't think to notice that. I didn't notice that. Because they've gone out of their way to include goggles in the protagonist of every Digimon show since the first one.
Literally every one. I can see it on Google. They'll pop up like almost every season. And every season there's a guy with goggles. So,
even when they like rebooted it and tried to make it about sound or something, that the guy has goggles. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you see the key visual? There's another key visual that popped up. That's a trailer thing. It has them on the trolley car. You remember at the end of the first Digimon when they were on that?
I did see that.
Yeah, and they're on the fucking trolley car, and it's just overgrown with weeds and stuff, and it looks awesome.
Yeah, this is the thing I admire about.
Oh, and Mimi.
Japanese marketing is
and Palmon is wearing Mimi's hat, so it looks like she kept the hat.
Oh yeah.
Because remember Mimi threw the hat to Palmon like at the end.
Oh dude, of course I remember that. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh god, I just think there's like so much. Like I spent so much time in this universe. Like I think that this is gonna be fun for me. Either there's like no way I can review it. Like
I know.
Like this is a chunk of my childhood.
We're gonna have to, but I don't know how we're going to. I think they're making it for
such a failure at that.
They're gonna be making it for us, for the people that grew up with it, don't you think? I mean,
no, I can't imagine they're not. I mean, they're definitely, or at least this sort of imagery right there, where they're actually showing the rail car and Palmon with a hat. Like they're definitely trading on nostalgia here, like nuts.
Hardcore.
Which is interesting because I wondered if there's like a growing nostalgia audience in Japan for these kind of shows.
Yeah. That's the way the marketing's been so far. It's giving us one little teaser at a time. It seems to be relying on that.
I've not seen. Have they come up with PVs yet? I haven't seen anything along those lines.
No, not like that. I just mean like the website. They released they reached the announcement of what the series was going to be about, and then they did these silhouette character sketches, and now we have these, like you said, the key images. It's just really funny to me.
Cool. Speaking of nostalgia, Toonami news, they've changed back a couple months ago. I think it was about February 9th. They changed over their schedule. They were kind of slowing down they're kind of lessening their midnight block a little bit from like 12 to 3, and they changed it up to Dragon Ball Z Kai, Kill la Kill, Naruto, Inuyasha, Gurren Lagann, One Piece, and Deadman Wonderland. The news now is that supposedly they're cutting Deadman Wonderland for Attack on Titan due to the popularity of Attack on Titan. So I know that you are still watching Toonami of all people because you're the one that keeps up with this more than me.
That's
how do you think
I have
about
a shitty
the
internet connection. I still rely on Toonami.
Okay. You're much more old media. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
To say
conventional.
It.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't know what was on Toonami if it wasn't for you. Though I have to admit, I do appreciate it. Getting up to go to watch Toonami was something I got in trouble a lot for when I was little. So I still have a soft spot for it. I don't know.
Aww.
But what do you think in terms of playing? Like, because it's the 3 a.m. block is Deadman and Attack on Titan. So how do you feel about them switching Deadman over to Attack?
I've been kind of thinking, well, because it's unusual for them to only run the first season of a show just once and then cut back to a previous show that they've had on, right? I mean, don't you think? So yeah.
No, I just think that Toonami lends itself, and I think it definitely shows in its lineup, to kind of shonen style shows where you can jump in kind of the middle of it. It doesn't matter. Like, if I jump in anywhere in Dragon Ball Z, I don't care. Like, they're on Namek. Yeah, sure. This is the Frieza arc. Great. It's the Android arc. Well, actually, I would care because if it was the Frieza arc, I'd probably watch it. But the point is, like, I think that's why they're getting stuff like One Piece. Like Attack on Titan definitely has popularity. I understand why it came back easily. But they're also like they're getting new stuff in eventually, because I know that Sword Art Online 2 will be airing on Toonami eventually.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work out. I mean, it's popular here in the States, like Kill la Kill and Attack on Titan and Deadman Wonderland I mean, they're all popular here in the States to some extent, but I think they're definitely more part of the Crunchyroll generation, and I feel like the Toonami generation is a little bit more Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Speed, and Naruto and all that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like you can't get in the middle of Deadman Wonderland or Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you have to like watch that consistently, and I feel like watching a show at 3 a.m. consistently is kind of insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people. No, go ahead.
Well, it is the stoner market, was all I was going to say.
I guess 3 a.m. is consistently. I mean, we were up that late in college always.
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends on what market Toonami's always been shooting for, and nostalgic stoners maybe essentially what that kind of is in play for. Yeah, I can't believe I understand Inuyasha and Naruto and Dragon Ball and One Piece and even Gurren Lagann, because that's like the ultimate Toonami. I don't know, the Gurren Lagann just seems to fit into that group.
Oh yeah, definitely
perfectly, but. I don't know. Like, can you explain that to me? Like, why it seems perfect for Toonami? It's a little bit different than other shonen, because I feel like you have to follow that story at least a little bit.
You mean Deadman? Yeah. I guess that's a.
No. I mean Gurren Lagann and Deadman. I mean Deadman too, but Gurren Lagann more.
Why it fits so well? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're onto something. I think when you talk about being able to just sit down and pick up any show that's on Toonami right in the middle of it, because when you said that, I realized I do that a lot. If I've seen the series before, that's what Ghost in the Shell would lend itself to that really well, because you got the standalone episodes, and
Ghost in the Shell you can pick up almost anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, frankly, I mean, other than like the beginning and end, like, almost anywhere.
Yeah, same with Bebop, of course.
That's actually funny, because Ghost in the Shell and Bebop were taken off there for this schedule.
Yeah. Well, it seems like those are like their classic ones, and they take them off when they want to add something new, and then eventually they put them back. So I'm not, concerned that Bebop or Ghost in the Shell are never coming back, But
they will. I mean, let's be honest. If I'm up late and I turn on Toonami, and any episode of Bebop is on, I will watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I will just get sucked in and watch it and be like, oh, yeah, this is what my life used to be like. It was pretty awesome.
The thing is, too, I'm really glad they have Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann on there right now, because I watched the sub versions of those first, and now I kind of get to, just watch the English dub whenever I feel like it.
Oh, that's right. They're the dubbed ones.
Yeah. I still.
Oh, have you seen the Kill la Kill?
No.
Go ahead.
I still haven't seen much of the Kill la Kill dub except for the commercials. But every time one of those commercials comes on, I watch it. The Kill la Kill ads on Toonami.
I have to admit, I feel like I've not seen any of it, but I've seen like the trailers and stuff for the dub, and I feel like they nailed Mako.
Yeah.
Like every bit I've seen, I've just been like, oh my god, it's just Mako in English, and it's great. I feel like if I went back and watched Kill la Kill now, I'd probably enjoy it more as a dub than sub. I feel like, especially like as high octane as the visuals in that show, like just sitting back and like listening to the dub and using your full set of senses instead of trying to figure out what the fuck's going on through a little text bar at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Because you're confused. I mean, you are confused through the majority of that anime, so it actually may be one that Gurren Lagann as well and Kill la Kill probably are two shows that really prosper from a dub.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yeah.
Since we're talking about Kill la Kill, speaking of Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, those are both Trigger, right? Or
yeah.
Did you want to talk about the sex and violence with Mach Speed? Trigger short film.
Yes, I did. I did.
And then we got me into watching. That you exposed me to.
I don't know. Like, why? How do you feel about that, Trevor? Like, tell me about your feelings.
Well, I managed to watch it once, all the way through, with before I realized that I could do subtitles. I have to admit, to my chagrin. I went back today and I tried to watch it with the subtitles, but the site's so busy that I couldn't get it to buffer, and I got most of the way through. I got it far enough of the way through to hear what's his name? I think his name actually is Mach Speed, the little like rhinoceros detective guy. Say, launch the.
No. He's a shark.
Oh, shark. Excuse me. That's right.
I don't know if he has a nose. He says shark skin. He says shark skin, and that's just
skin.
why I thought he was a shark.
Yeah, but I watched it long
and
enough
to.
I watched it long enough to hear him say, "Launch the sex missile." So, I'm glad I got that far.
He literally throws the girl, and she just has sex with like 2 carloads of like gatorish dog-looking things.
Yeah. I got the clarification the second time too that she's not a girl, she's a sex doll. So that made me feel a little bit better about the whole thing, actually.
Yeah, it did and it didn't, because
Strangely.
Is she moving, or is he? Here's the thing I was wondering: is he moving at Mach speed and making the sex doll have sex with people?
Oh, dude, you thought way too much about this. Well, like he's the one who's actually like controlling everything because he's moving faster than light or something, or not.
Yeah, and he's just like super messed up. I love it in the end when there's
man.
like the girl who slices her up, and he's like gonna kill her, and the rhino woman's like, I actually lost people, and he's like, I don't care, values, and it just like values just flashes across the screen.
He just says values,
and then he like, yeah, he's like, I have different set of values. And she's like, I lost real people. You lost a blow-up doll. See, that's like, I mean, yeah. Like, let's be honest. It's horrifyingly sexist, and like there's a level of animation. But I get that like there's a trashy element, but I feel like that's on purpose. Like that's on really on purpose.
There's
here.
the guy who comes into the detective agency with the problem that he's afraid of women, right? So I mean that. That kind of contextualizes that a little bit. Like I who knows with Trigger? I really don't know what they're trying to say. I still don't. I need to watch Kill la Kill again because
I feel like
I've tried to make the argument for Kill la Kill to my protege, my little brother, who I grew up watching Digimon with and a few other anime, but he won't really engage with it now that he's older. And I keep trying to make the argument for things like Kill la Kill and be like, no, they're dressed that way because it's a commentary on that. And he says, you realize that the people who are making that commentary are the ones who drew them like that, right? And I don't know what to say. He kind of,
Yeah, it's really hard to defend this kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Like I
yeah.
want to, but like, like it is.
But
like,
the
it's still
animation is
enjoyable,
just
and it's
so beautiful. You can tell so much work and thought has gone into it that they have to be saying something. If they aren't, I don't even care. Part of me, you know.
well,
that's
yeah,
the
like you literally when you begin an anime. I mean, it really is hard for me to realize that because like you see all these harem shows sometimes, and you're just like, fuck me, man. There's so many of them, and they're just like thoughtless at times, and you realize when these people start a project, they're like literally gonna be like heads down on it for like half a year. Like
Right.
that's just all they're gonna do day in and day out in this insane industry for like an unconscionable amount of time, like animating, like hand drawing all those keyframes and all that stuff. Like it's insane to me to say that they don't go in with more ideas, but I really think there is kind of like, because it's controlled, the material that goes into it is controlled by such a few amount of people. This is actually something that's talked to me by Shirobako. So
Yeah.
it's controlled by such a couple of people, because really all the shots and design and stuff is done by the director, and if it's the director's office or the writer, then it's really coming from maybe one person and a group of people that are commenting on his piece to him, and then it's really just like his communication with his staff to like make the visuals happen. Did anything ever explain like why the shark had like this rhino nose that went up the monkey's butt? Like,
I think a lot of things were just not explained at all, man. That
no, like did you draw any feelings from that, Trevor?
any what?
I don't know. Like,
Well, I mean, it was
like, what did you think the monkey's butt meant or represented?
no idea.
I don't know. I feel like it was
it's the
showing off more than
externalization
anything
of
else.
his masculinity that he doesn't actually have, like in his own corporal form. He's like externalized all of
Fuck
it.
you having an answer on hand. No.
I don't know.
No, I feel like there is like that level of reading there, but I feel like at the same time
I don't
want
want to do it. Yeah, I don't.
No, yeah, it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I love his last line in the bit. He's like, because they put the blow up doll back together and she's like all sewn up.
Right.
And it's like, oh, my girlfriend's got a lot of scars, but it goes well with my shark skin. Don't lie, you're laughing. And that's the only thing. I feel like that's what makes this sort of thing reasonable.
Yeah.
For me, like that makes it, because it's just. I wonder if there's like if it like hits veins with other people, because it's not meant for us, like culturally speaking, I don't think. But for me, it's just kind of like this distant thing that I just kind of like, because it's making fun of our culture a little bit with the neo-noir elements.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's like somebody else reflecting our culture and making fun of it at the same time, making fun of their own reflective culture. So there's like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is like, I think we're reading way too much into all of this. Like first off, but it's cool just to see it, and it kind of weirds me out. And I know that it's like it's not like it's meant to be trashy in that extent and to that. So for me, like that meta trashiness is like acceptable, and I don't know if that's necessarily
Meta
should be
trashiness.
acceptable,
I
but
like that. I like that. We could.
Well,
Like,
that is what it is.
I
Like,
might-
I definitely think that.
I like that. I might borrow that.
I appreciate it. Just make sure to give it attribution to me,
Yeah.
All right. I think that's enough time with news. Do you want to move on to talking about Parasite the Maxim this week?
Oh yeah, there was just one other thing. We were gonna mention the live action Attack on Titan thing, but I don't actually have that much to say about that. 'Cause,
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it drop this week. It's cool, I guess. Like it's cool. It's cool that the Japanese film industry is doing films. Because I don't know what, like, I haven't paid much attention to the Japanese film industry, and necessarily these anime adaptations. I know they're doing like a Naruto stage play now and some other stuff along those lines.
Oh yeah.
And so they're doing more anime adaptation stuff, and it's just interesting to me.
Well, there's an
that, like,
Evangelion no play. I'm pretty sure. I heard about that at some
like
point.
no, like as in
As in
the
like
art
with
form,
the
like,
masks,
no.
man. Yeah.
Do they like fighting mechs with like no masks and stuff?
Something like that. Yeah. I've seen a few pictures online. It was. Did I not tell you about this? Man, it blew
I
my
gotta
mind.
look this
a little
up.
bit.
That's cool. Like,
Yeah. It kind of
and
makes
do they
sense
like
in a
sing
way.
and stuff?
I have no idea. I
Oh
just
my
saw a few
god, yeah,
pictures. Yeah. It's pretty
yeah,
it's a mind fuck. You should look it up. Neon Genesis no
yeah. That's
play.
messed up.
Yeah.
Does he like masturbate into his hand on stage,
No, I doubt they do
like
the events
from
of the
her like
movie.
semi-nude body?
You know, I doubt they include events from End of Evangelion. That would be
Dude, you don't know.
well, it's
You
true. I
don't know. It
don't.
could
That's,
happen.
I mean, you know how hard it is to get people to come to a no play in the first place, though. Like, why would you repel
Where
them
was
as
this?
soon as they
This
got
was
there?
was this when you were in Japan?
No, I don't know how I heard of it. I just looked it up online at some point. I never actually
Oh,
saw
it's
it.
online. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not like we can't go down the road and find these at our local theater group.
No.
Sorry, I was just checking. I thought you were saying it was like a thing or something. I don't know.
But yeah, the
Yeah,
special.
I don't really have much to say about the trailer.
Yeah, I looked at the behind the scenes stuff, and the special effects and everything else look kind of interesting because they're using like like models, puppets with green screen technology, and that looked actually pretty cool. It's weird how they're doing that. Instead of just all CGI, they're using. It looks like they're using a puppet that they're manipulating with green screen technology, like grafted onto it or something, and behind it. So that's kind of cool. But
Well, I would like that.
yeah.
I mean, I think that we've kind of, like, American film has lost, like, or we're in the process of losing. I mean, we've lost such stuff as, like, backdrop designers, like the guys who used to, draw those great backdrops in films.
Yeah.
Which, they just had that optical effect where it made it, like, the painting would have depth and they would use it as backdrops. Like, that's been a lost art, and we're losing miniatures as an art in Hollywood right now. Or we're in the process of losing it because people don't really employ miniature artists anymore because the cheapness of CG. So it's I guess like it's really, really cool to me that that's actually still kind of a thing in Japan. But with the articulating Titans, the trailer I saw of the few Titans I saw really looked CG to me. Are you sure are they doing the Titans in models, or are they kind of doing like the wall and all the environments and models and then just animating the Titans?
No, dude. I saw something about them making up actors like Titans to some extent, but then there's still.
Oh, so is it more like Godzilla like style, like monster movies type of deal with the actors and Titan stuff?
Yeah, except they're somehow integrating it with CGI. I don't know how they're doing it, but it does.
Oh no, they do that all the time. I mean, they did that in the classic Godzilla. They would do point of depth of field, and they would do CG screens, and then you would have the actor in the background blowing up a city, while they just have forced perspective of the characters in the foreground.
Right. Well, that's still not CGI, though, is it? Or is that the same thing?
Well, they would just kind of combine stuff with the CG. So they'll have a room, and they'll have like a hole in the wall, and they'll have the hole blocked off with green screen, and then they'll have an actor who's just really, really big looking through a hole in something, and then they'll just superimpose the two on each other's to make the size difference. It's actually not it's a cool technique, but I mean, it's not anything new per se. I thought you were talking like suggesting like the Titans were like miniature models.
Oh no. This puppet thing that I saw was about human sized actually, than other humans.
Wait, but it is like a puppet.
Yeah, it is weird, man.
Is it like a skin suit, or is it like a made up person or a puppet?
It's like a made up person, like a puppet, like a human sized Titan model thing.
You're mixing terms here, so you're just killing me.
They had all these people behind it, like with sticks attached to it, moving the arms.
Oh
and the
yeah,
people
so
were
it is like a puppet. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. I thought you had like it was like a dude in a suit like Godzilla.
Well, that's the thing though. They had some people in suits too. Like I don't know. Like
oh, so they're just doing everything. That's
I guess cool. I don't know. There was a guy who was I think he was one of the aberrants, from the show. He had like this huge belly, and he was waving his arms and running. And
it's gonna be funny when they do the live action, like I don't want to say you know what, but like the live action like nutsy Titan run that they do when he's like fat and his like little legs are like moving underneath him like at like high octane speeds.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do for that. Are they gonna be like on horses and just have this giant little puppet like swanning around behind them? I don't know. I feel like this movie could like if they don't nail the CG on this, like I'm gonna be like laughing in the middle of it. Like they gotta get it right. Like they have to be scary.
Yeah.
And if the puppets just come across as like weird and stupid, it's gonna be the best. I mean, it'll still be the best movie, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah. They're apparently going to take some liberties with it, too, because I swear I saw a car chase in one of the trailers I saw. Like, there was a car.
What?
There was a car. A modern car in one of the trailers I saw. So I don't know how.
Oh, no. Oh, God, Trevor. They did a Subaru commercial.
Oh, that's
with Attack
what that
on
was.
Titan.
Oh, man. I apologize. Well, now I'm a lot less
Did
scared.
you watch the... I've seen that. It's a Attack on Titan car commercial.
Oh, that's genius.
Yeah, they did that. What car was it? Oh yeah, the Subaru. I was wondering about that because you were talking about the CGI, and I was like, I hadn't seen any CGI stuff for this. Okay, I mean, I'm sure they'll do it in a similar way because that commercial turned out, but yeah, we may cut that off air. How about that?
So let's talk about Parasite.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. Oh, so what did you think of the last episode?
That was good, man. I was pretty happy with it. I thought it was kind of weird whenever. Well, it was. I could see why they did it, but it was still kind of weird that they acted like after they defeated Goto, they weren't going to kill him, and Migi had his reasons, which made sense that he was one of his species, right, and that it wouldn't be right.
Well, I think that's actually a big change in Migi's character after this whole series because he kills his own species,
right?
Like,
plenty of times before,
up until now.
Yeah. What was his reason for not doing it this time? I can't remember exactly. What did he say?
He literally said, I shouldn't kill one of my own."
Yeah, because it would be akin to
for
murder.
No reason.
If from a human perspective, yeah. So like he's like
understood
and I
think
what murder is for Shinichi. Yeah.
Which is really weird because then Shinichi acts like this is like, for me, like that moment is great because it's the flip we wanted all along that I talked about in the beginning. It's the flip that you talked about in your thing as well. Shinichi's like, practically, I got to kill this guy. If he comes back, he's going to murder and he's just going to be out of control. Mm-hmm. And, on the other hand, Migi's like, no, I can't do it. It's killing my own. At the very least, like I've learned from Tamura Ryoko, that the reason humans are dangerous are all those emotions that we thought were unreasonable in the first place. And I think that Migi hasn't changed. He's just evolved more, not evolved more, but he's just evolved to the thinking that the way humans are is actually more dangerous than the way parasites are.
Yeah, and they keep having those flashbacks, in the same episode with Tamura Reiko telling Shinichi how fragile they are.
I'll throw this up at the beginning, but major spoilers ahead for anyone who just another little reminder about spoilers. I'll throw spoiler warning up on the front of this, just hold on ahead. So to the halfway mark, and then spoilers ahead. I'll just do a little watermark on the video. So there you go. Okay, continuing on now that that's done. Okay. And I don't know, like I was happy to some extent that Migi came back to have that moment.
Dude,
I was upset that they essentially.
Can I just say I knew Migi was coming back. I knew that he was not dead.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, and we should have bet on it because I don't know. Eventually,
we're gonna.
Eventually, you said like, yeah, that felt really rushed if he died right there, right? Like I think I got you coming around a little bit, but I knew he wasn't dead. I knew he was coming back. There's no way. If Migi goes, he's not going to go like that. I think,
like, I can't see Shinichi just living out his days with Migi on his hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way this series is, I cannot imagine that they're both gonna pull through this.
Yeah. Well, we got one episode left. And they've already.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. I mean, no. Okay, we're gonna get this to the eventually because we're gonna take bets on who's gonna die and what's gonna happen because we're there at this point.
Yep.
And he's pretty much eliminated the majority of the parasite threat. So I imagine at this point there has to come a piping with the human side of the equation. So maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. But more, let's just work on kind of before we get into predictions because we'll bet what'll happen in the final episode. But let's talk at least about Goto right now in this kind of thing in this episode because I didn't actually really like it. Frankly. I love Parasite and I've sang the praises of this show. Though as we've moved on into the second part of like the two episodes, the two cores, I have to admit I've moved my favorite anime of the last two seasons well over to Shirobako, at least so far. And that's not fair because Shirobako hits a good point in my heart. But the point is that I think there's been a slide, and I can tell for me at least I feel like it has to do with the fact that the source material must be piling up at their feet. The cut source material must be piling up down there at this point because there was a lot more manga material than they have time in this anime, and I think that must be what happening because they did the opening straight faced like they did a lot of the opening material with as much as we had in the anime, and it was excellent. It was compact, it was great, and it nailed me. And now I feel like there's little bits that we're missing.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously gonna go back and read the whole anime, the whole manga right after this show ends. I got it all. I have it. I'm just gonna read the whole thing right after the show ends. So hopefully, we'll get you to do that as well before you post your review.
Yeah.
Because I've read pretty much up to date with this episode, and I'm reading with the manga right after I watch the episode, and I'm trying to see because the big criticism I see from people talking about it is that the manga is essentially better than the anime, and we'll have to have that conversation I think on an episode of Unhelpful Cast after this,
definitely.
And after we've read the manga, and
that could probably take up
because I need to know because I love this anime, and I think that people will appreciate that. If you haven't read the manga, I mean, I think they can definitely understand our perspective as to why we're so in love with this anime, even if it may not necessarily be as good. But at the very least, if you haven't seen or read Parasite, you need to be watching this because it's fantastic.
Well, now you said all that, but what was it that you didn't like about the way they handled Goto in the last episode? Because I have a feeling I might agree with you here and there, but
well, I guess killing Miggy off for one episode has to have an emotional impact, and Shinji has to be sorry about that. Stealthy girlfriend entered the room. So sorry about that. I have headphones in and she snuck up behind me. Okay. Sorry, I just killed my train of thought.
So Goto.
You were asking something?
Yeah. So what did
okay.
What didn't you like about the way they handled Goto in this final episode?
I don't think I have a problem with Goto. I don't think he's definitely. I guess if I had a problem, I have a problem that we lost Tamara Ryoko again, because I think that's the point that the anime trailed off a bit for me, because Goto's he was her experiment, and there's a reactionary thing, so it never occurred to me that Goto would stop them, because Goto is tough and invincible, but Tamara Ryoko seemed to be handling everything, and they were the threat, and they were the she passed the torch onto them a little bit. So that felt like a greater moment in terms of the philosophy of the series. The point is the interaction with Goto's like an animal, and that's just kind of what, and that's really I guess what was kind of the bit that Miggy was talking about. Goto is more a parasite than Miggy is, and that Goto acts according the parasites, then the majority of them act according to their instincts, and as such they're like animals, and they're not as tough as humans, and that's what separates them to some extent. I mean, they're essentially intelligent animals, but it's actually the unintelligent side of humans that really makes them a terrifying force to the environment. And that's also the bit again, is that he has him kill him. When I think about it, I like it. There's all these elements I like. I just feel like it cheaped out on the battle, because he stabbed him, and he was lucky because that iron pipe had poison that was dumped there, and that caused them to break apart. And allow Miggy to come back. And to me, that reeks of Deus Ex Machina. But at the same time, you got this excellent bit where they're like, yeah, humans are destroying the environment because they don't care. It's just all these elements came together to allow Shinichi to destroy Goto. Like, he went back for unreasonable human expectations. He went back. He had the pipe was buried under human waste, and that's why he was able to poison Goto. He also, like, the humans wounded him beforehand, and that allowed him the opportunity to do this. It's just all this Deus Ex Machina crap to allow him to beat him, but at the same time, it's all like it's still like founded in the narratives, but I still just don't like it how it played out. Like, I wish it felt more. I wish it felt like I was never like, yeah, Shinichi's gonna die now. Like, I guess. Like, whereas I never knew what was going to happen with Tamara Ryoko, I feel like the series after her, like, it's very rote. Like, there's less interesting conversations to happen, and they're just, the thing that we predicted from the beginning has just happened with Migi and Shinichi. Like, they come full circle on themselves, and they're both, like, more whole people now for it.
Right. And something you were wondering, which I'm wondering about now too, is how long that Shinichi's stay with that old woman that took him in, if that was maybe a bigger thing in the manga, or if it was maybe more complex in the manga, because she ends up just kind of being, in the anime, just another, like, an example of a healthy human life for him, I guess, and that she says, you have to keep going and think of all the things you can think of and that sort of thing. And I don't know. It seems like him seeing her and spending time with her before he gives him the resolution to go back and take on Goto, because I don't know. Like, she keeps telling him he doesn't have to run away, or he can run away, and it's fine. But then she hasn't been through what he has, so it's like somehow spending time with her in a way makes him less human. I don't know. Like, it makes him realize how different he is than I don't know. It's just still real
this definitely
mixed up for me.
Because I read after, what was it? It was Kana, right? The first young girl that died. Obviously, the first girl that died was his mother.
Right.
So it was, I don't remember if his name was Kana, but she annoyed us. She annoyed me significantly in the anime, like her character arc, because I feel like there's a majority of the female characters are getting heavily edited and cut for Shinichi in this anime, and I think that's a problem.
A little bit.
Because she just came off, like, lovesick and sickening in the bit where she was, like, the White Knight stuff and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But she died, and I know in the manga that shit just went on. Like, he was just destroyed after that.
Oh, yeah.
And he picks himself up way too fast in the anime a little bit. Because that's the whole point. There's, like, I think there's, like, these couple of segments here where Shinichi is just, like, emotionally freaking rocked. And the first time, you see it a little bit. I think we see it better the first one after his mother, obviously, because he looks like shit, and he goes off and defeats the anime, and he comes back and he's like badass mode now. And that was obviously the most major thing, and they represented that because it's in the earlier part of the anime, and they were sticking closer to the script at that point. And they're just, I think this last little reshuffling bit has just hurt them a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, it really does seem like the pace of the series felt very different after Tamara Reiko died, and I think part of that is that they for his whole origin story and all the first few episodes, they took it, like you said, pretty verbatim, and I mean, it felt fast paced in a good way, but it was, I guess, much on the whole more slower paced than the second half of the series was, when it feels like it was one arc after another, and it took on this really weird pacing, not just with the ridiculous cliffhangers that were driving us all crazy. I think I can speak for pretty much anyone who's watching the anime at that point, with the cliffhangers just being crazy. But how
I don't think they're the worst. Like, I mean, I get what you're saying, but, like, I do not think that they're by any stretch, like, the worst in terms of the cliffhangers.
Not the worst, but I mean, they were
there are
pretty.
some series that I'm watching and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me?
It was just so oddly or consistently. It felt like a new arc would start, like what you would have normally for an episode plot would be stretched over the second half of one episode and the first half of another. Sometimes in the second half. Does that make sense? Like, it was all just kind of off the entire time. because they were trying to cram so much
Yeah,
stuff
no.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then there was some weird. I think they made some moments tense, like where they had the first time that Shinichi's like it ended when he was looking the serial killer in the eye, and you're wondering if the serial killer is going to identify Shinichi as a parasite.
Right.
And that's happening, and you're just sitting there going, and that was like kind of artificial tension, and it's just they're breaking those episodes up in a point when it was obviously together in the manga, and it was going through this whole point.
Right.
Just to start it in, and I guess that's just the thing is like this thing it must be difficult, like it must be difficult to take a huge volume and work and be like, oh, here's 24 episodes, chop this piece of work into that frame.
Yeah.
And they're shooting for it, and I appreciate that they're not shooting for like 48 or 50 episodes, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I believe, was like 50 episodes, or maybe it was higher.
Yeah.
But I think it's difficult to kind of figure out like how long an anime adaptation should be based on the manga at least. Okay, so Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is 64 episodes. And I appreciate that, and I think a lot of people because a lot of people enjoy the beginning of the original anime better, but I certainly like the ending better, which I like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood for, because it really, at some point, it just revs for that ending. At some point, the anime essentially ends, everything is set up, and it's just revving forever to that ending. And when it gets there, it's great.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Brotherhood as opposed to the original, because the original anime ending is shit. I know people can fucking kill me for that, but I don't care. I do not like the original ending of the first Full Metal Alchemist anime. I will put that one down for the record.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
I could.
Well, let's not have it. People will come with pitchforks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, though, if there are people out here listening to this, please give us some comments and some questions. We'd love to take some more information down and to hear what you guys have to say about the show. You know, we do this entirely free for no purpose other than just the enjoyment and the interaction with the community. So some more interaction on your guys' side, just letting us have some questions. And I'd love to have some questions on here that we'd love to answer for you guys about shows or topics for us to talk about. So if you want to do that, you can either go to our website, unhelpfulmedia.com, and post some questions to the Unhelpful Cast links, or you can also go to our YouTube on Unhelpful Media, and you can post anywhere along there and just ask us a couple questions. I've talked a long time about doing a bunch of questions that were on from our Sword Art Online comparison videos. We may do those eventually, especially now that Log Horizon 2, or the second season of Log Horizon, is ending. Shock, it's not good. Well, we'll get there eventually as well. But please just give us some information, give us some feedback. Let us know the community's out there and interested. So thanks. Any other thing about Parasite you wanted to add in, Trevor?
I think that just leaves the wager for the last episode as to what we think is going to happen.
Oh yeah. So
basically, you think there's no way that Migi and Shinichi can continue to coexist?
Are you defining that as your wager as they go on and are fine?
I guess so. Yeah.
All right. I guess as the reward, we will be able to pick who does which reviews, or you get to pick one of the reviews, and you just get to keep that one as your own. We'll keep that out of the decision list, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, cool. So you're saying that Shinichi and Migi will live on together, as Migi will continue to be Shinichi's arm, and they will live happily ever after in that sort of state?
You know, when you put it that way, it does sound kind of implausible.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But I'm going to go for, yeah, I'm going to be optimistic about this one.
All right.
He has to
that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, like I just don't think we can end the series with Shinichi only having one arm. Like that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Not that it would be, unfair.
All right. Well, I'm going to pick that as my thing, because even if Shinichi ends it with one arm, as long as he's got the girl, which I think was that bit on that episode, which really made me upset a little bit, where he's just like, oh, you've not been in several episodes for a while, let's schmang, and it's gonna make everything better for him, and it's gonna make him want to live because the power of sex.
Right. Yeah.
That was obnoxious a little bit, but I mean, at the same time, like that's the thing, is like, as long as he gets away with her, I think the series can pretty much do whatever it wants to Shinichi, and it'll be okay.
Man.
The girl's not gonna die. like I can't imagine she dies. Like that's they had the other girl for the express purpose of dying.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that she dies. And as long as she's okay, I'm pretty sure they can pretty much dismember Shinichi, and it'll be okay.
That's a good point. You're kind of talking me into it now. All right. Well, I'll still.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you made the bet, and I'm just look. I'm not gonna like the only thing that I'm gonna bet is that Miggy dies, and Shinichi's left with only one arm. That's all I'm gonna. That's my bet.
All right. I guess I'm gonna at least
and
bet that.
anything in between.
Yeah.
Well, no. If anything in between, if you want to like anything in between, we'll say neither of us win, and we're just lame. How about that? So if Shinichi dies and Miggy somehow like takes over his dead corpse or something.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
That'd be pretty weird. That'd be a pretty weird way to end the series. And Miggy just is like, nope, I'm human. Just gonna live and have sex with his girlfriend. That's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's not talk about that. All right. Well, I think that about wraps up the second episode of Unhelpful Cast. Thank you so much, dear listener, for listening and getting all the way through. I really appreciate it. And if you did manage to get it all the way through, let us know. And please come up with some just everything you want us to talk about. If you want to come on the show and give us a call and go over and just post stuff on our sites on YouTube, Tumblr, pretty much any social media imaginable, as well as our .com, unhelpfulmedia.com over on WordPress. So just let us know. And thanks again. And next week we'll have a bunch more material for you. Absolute Duo review coming out tomorrow night on Monday, and we should get this up for you shortly. So thank you so much. And thank you, Senna, my lovely, lovely, lovely co-host.
Thank you.